Hey guys, way back rewind here. Today I'm going to look at Canon's XL series camcorders. Canon made 5 of these cameras between 1998 and 2008. The first 3 were in standard definition. The final 2 were in high definition. They all recorded on DV tape, and these were the cameras of choice between prosumers and professionals. I'm going to take a look at these cameras and see what made them compelling and look at some of the features, why these cameras were so special here on Way Back Rewind. Okay, let's get started. Today we're going to talk about Canon's XL series. From 1998 to 2008, Canon produced 5 of these cameras. This is the XL1. The XL series all had the removable lens, just like the L series, but it's a completely new lens. The XL zoom lens is a completely new design, not interchangeable with the L series removable lens. The XL series kicked off a new set of lenses and camera design for Canon. What made the XL series unique is this circular ring here, and the whole camera design language pivots around this. It almost looks like the camera itself would pivot there, but it does not. The camera is rigid with a metal frame, much more rigid than the old L series cameras, which were kind of plasticky and creaky. These cameras are built like a tank. They're very solid. This is a standard definition camera. It shoots on DV tape, unlike the L series, which shot on high 8. This is a DV camera. So the camera I have in front of you today is actually an XL1s. It came out in 2001. It was an improved version of the XL1. The only external difference is it has some presets hidden under here, under this window. The entire camera is designed aesthetically around this circular ring. This is the control ring that sets what mode that you're in, all the way from off, all the way to play, shutter priority, aperture priority, or full manual. So I'm going to go over the features. This camera is designed to be held like a traditional camcorder. It does not have the dual grip. So you hold this camera with the right hand. The left hand can control the manual zoom ring and focus ring. Your thumb is available to either switch the switches on the filter. Over here you have your iris. If you look on the little display here, you can see as I'm moving this, you can see the iris changing. This is my shutter. I can speed the shutter up or I can slow it down. And here's my gain. The gain doesn't display on this little meter, but it displays in the viewfinder. You have it anywhere from automatic or from -3 to +30. Gives you a fairly decent amount of gain. So it doesn't have super low light capabilities, being a 3-chip camera, but it does have a lot of digital flexibility, being a DV camera. Under here you have a lot of extensive audio controls, front mic, audio in the rear. This camera is very sticky. It's from 2001, but the black, whatever this coating was, is kind of coming off of my hands. Back here you have audio and video inputs, analog. This is a digital camera, but it has analog inputs and outputs, which is a nice thing. Some of these turn-of-the-century cameras have both, which is very nice. Headphone and monitor. I have my VCR controls up here. An auxiliary set of inputs for audio here. Oversized battery, and that's where the DV tape goes. The start button and the zoom. It does have a still feature, but it only records still on tape. This camera does not have any type of memory storage card. That would come later in the XL series. The XL-H1 and H1s have a memory card. The whole purpose of angling up the VCR portion like this, I'm not sure what they were thinking. In order to make that practical, it has to have a shoulder rest that comes down. Another option is to have a heel down here with some XLR inputs on it. I'll show you what that looks like. I don't have one at the moment. I bought one on eBay. It's not here yet. Immediately after the XL1s, Canon came out with an XL2. The XL2 looks very similar. It has the same lens mount. They kind of toned down this circular design language, but the camera itself looks pretty much the same. Biggest difference with the XL2 is it has native support for 16:9. By that point, in 2004 when it came out, widescreen was becoming a thing. This is a 4:3 camera. This camera has no native support for 16:9 widescreen and it only shoots in standard definition. This was considered a broadcast quality camera back in the standard definition days. So hidden under this little door, almost forgot to show you this, there is a 4-pin Firewire IEEE 1394 connector, a Lanc remote connector. You have a little connector here. I've actually forgotten what that is for. So this camera has tons of little trapdoors. Most of these were originally covered with a plastic cover, but the rubber kind of melted away at some point. This one is hanging by a thread. Oop, it just came off. This one is no longer attached. So the downside to these cameras, if you can find one working, is that the rubber has just degraded to the point where it's not very nice. There was a cover over the headphone jack. It's now missing. These two are plastic, so they're hanging out a lot stronger. I'm going to hook this to a monitor and see if you can see better what it's doing. Okay, I said this camera had no 16:9 support. It can kind of fake it, at least squeeze the image, but here you can at least see what I was talking about a little better with the iris and with the shutter. I have the lens cap on, which isn't helping. This isn't the best monitor in the world. I found it in my junk drawer, but it does let me show you a little bit what's going on here. So I said this wasn't a dual grip camera. It's not entirely correct, because I do have a start stop button here and I have an extra zoom lever right here. So I can hold the camera like this and I can still operate it. Now I want to show you the Canon XL-H1s. This camera came out in 2008. It looks very similar to the XL1 and the XL1s and the XL2. They did add a third ring for the iris. So now you have a focus, zoom, and iris ring. And it also has a ring for the ND filter. So it literally has 4 rings. Other than that, the camera layout is virtually the same as the XL1 and the XL2. So I'm not going to go over all the things that are the same. I'll just show you some of the differences. One of the nice things that it has is native support for 16:9. By the time 2008 came around, people were clamoring for widescreen, so it has support for 16:9. It has the iris and shutter controls that I showed you before and the gain. Whatever they coated this with, it isn't sticky. This is just hard plastic, nice clean hard plastic. So it's not sticky like the XL1s that you'll find out there. It has the built-in heel with the XLR ports on it, which is nice. And I forgot to mention the most important thing. This is a high definition camera, 1080i on tape. It does have the video in and out here. So let me hook that up real quick so you can see it on the monitor. One of the beauties of these full-size cameras is all those ports on there. So let me turn it on. You bring the monitor up closer so you can see it. And you have the audio meters on the screen, which is very nice. HDV 60i. It's sitting here ready to go. I do have the same controls up here. I can hit start. It's now recording. Time code, hours, minutes, seconds, frames. I see my audio state here, my audio meters. And this camera does not have a screen, but if you have good eyes, it does have this flip up and you have about a 2.5-inch screen. So it's not terrible. Even in 2008, Canon resisted the temptation to put a screen on this camera. They've envisioned this as a professional camera. And they assume professionals didn't need a screen, I guess. But they got rid of that little display up here, and you can see the meters. Turn this light on. It's not very bright at all. I've got the camera in full manual now. You can see the iris. I can shut it all the way down to close and open it back up. I've got gain here. Shutter. Last thing I want to show you, it's kind of unusual for a camera. It has a 6-pin firewire back here. And the thing that truly makes this a professional camera is the SDI out. You can get uncompressed digital video out of this port, send that to a recorder, record in 1080i, uncompressed. You also have a gen lock, which in a studio situation you can connect this to a sync generator and run all of your cameras off a switcher, and you have time code in and out. This was intended as a fully professional camera. Not much use for that today, but this uncompressed digital video makes these cameras somewhat still desirable, because people can hook that to a recorder and get high quality video out of this massive lens here. Ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Canon XL-H1s high definition mini DV camcorder. You can still find these on eBay working. They're not cheap because people do like the fact that they can still record in high definition, albeit on tape, but you do have that uncompressed digital out that you can run to a recorder. And this 20:1 zoom lens, you can get a really decent picture out of it still today. And as always, please like or subscribe to my channel, and we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.